I have always had an innate fear of the night, not so much the dark, but the night itself. As a child, my imagination was overcome with stories of creatures that come alive at night and the safety offered by a house and light. I'd never had anything to base this fear on until a night when I decided to go with a buddy of mine to a football game and got stuck at a light at 2 a.m. after dropping him off at home. Of course, the game that night went into a penalty shootout, so I didn't get a chance to drop my friend back home until well after 1 a.m. Everything was fine until I hit a light right before the street that led to my house. It was a T-junction and I was turning left. The light is one of those you think is broken until it finally turns green, right when you finally decide to run it. Of course, I pulled up right as the light turned red. I would have run the light, seeing as no one was there and it was closing in at 2 a.m. on a school night. But earlier that week I had heard the phrase, "Character is what you do when no one is looking." And for whatever reason, that was the night I decided to prove myself that I was a man of character. Big mistake. I pulled up to a stop at the light feeling good about myself, bordering on self-righteousness, when I finally happened to look out the window to my left and noticed a lady sitting all alone on a bus bench. We made brief eye contact, and I quickly looked away. It was too late. I could see movement out of my peripheral vision and knew she was coming my way. I looked out the window and noticed she was carrying a bag. I quickly checked that the doors were locked and the windows were up. And then I moved my right foot above the accelerator just in case, and braced myself for what was about to come. I was hoping it would be an awkward exchange and was praying for a quick light change before she reached me, so I could get out of there. I knew there was a slim chance of that. She walked right past up to my window. She put her bag down and began to tap on my window. I nervously looked up at her, and she motioned for me to put my window down. I had automatic window, so I took a deep breath and lightly pleaded with my finger. The window moved microscopically down, but she did not seem to notice or care. She then leaned in and began to talk. She said, "My boyfriend beat me up. I have a friend who lives down the street. Can you give me a ride?" I should stop and give a brief physical description of the bad lady. She was small and skinny and of intermediate age. She was either in her mid-20s and had lived a hard 20-plus years on the street, or she was 60-something years old, who had lived a moderately hard life on the street. All that to say, just by looking at her, there was no way to verify her story. She looked beat up by life, not just by a boyfriend, but there was something about her delivery. It was robotic and seemed practiced and like she was disconnected from the moment. That made my skin crawl, and after a brief, about a second debate on whether I should do it, I told her that I had to get home and could not give her a ride. After my first refusal, she leaned in closer and said the same thing. "My boyfriend beat me up. I have a friend who lives down the street. Can you give me a ride?" This time I felt more confident when I declined to give her a ride, and I told her I had a curfew and had to get home. She leaned in a third time and began her statement again. "My boyfriend beat me up." At this point, the light changed. I slowly lifted my foot off the brake and started slowly rolling forward and began muttering an apology. She didn't move. She just looked at me, and she looked up at the light, then she looked back down on me, leaned in closer and said 5 words that have haunted me ever since. "You made the right decision." Then she picked up her bag and walked back towards the bench. I peeled out of the intersection and cried and screamed all the way home. I have no idea what she planned to do, or if there were people waiting to jump in my car from the bushes if I had moved to let her in. But that encounter has haunted me ever since, and has confirmed in my mind that nothing good happens after dark. Thank you for sharing your experience. If you want to read a harmless story, I will paste it in the description box below. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you want me to narrate your experiences, you can email me your experience. The ID will be mentioned in the description box below. Just mention the type of story as the subject and mention the alias you might want to be mentioned, if any.